Models are simplified versions of things in the real world. We all use models every day without even thinking about it. The world around us is complex. We can't take in everything at once, so our brains rely on mental models to simplify things. We filter out the details and fill in the blanks with assumptions. We make mental models of ourselves, the people around us, and the things in our environment. Mental models shape our choices and behavior. When our prehistoric ancestors drew a leaping antelope on the cave wall, for the first time they brought their brain's mental model out into the real world. With an image on the cave wall, they could step back and study the antelope's shape and form. We often turn to models when we want to study things we can't see directly, things that are too fast, like a leaping antelope, or too slow, like continental drift, too small, like the atom, or too large, like the universe. Hidden things, like the Earth's core, as well as things that no longer exist, like dinosaurs, or don't exist yet, like an idea for an invention, or complex things, like climate change. The other radical thing about that first cave drawing was that it could be shared. Now that everyone could see the artist's mental model, they could imitate it in their own drawings, perhaps using what they know about antelopes to make the model better and more accurate. Sharing and collaboration leads to better models. While models may be based on observations and measurements, they always involve assumptions and estimates. Assumptions can be helpful, like when they represent natural events that tend to follow predictable patterns. But too many assumptions weaken a model. The more assumptions a model has, the less reliable it becomes, and the more vulnerable it is to criticism. Models are often controversial, especially when a new or different model challenges an established older model. Take, for example, the model of our solar system. We know today that the Earth revolves around the Sun, but back around 600 BC, the most popular model, called the geocentric model, placed the Earth at the center of the universe. In this model, the celestial bodies attached to rotating nested spheres revolve around the Earth. This model worked well for religious scholars because it agreed with text in the Bible that said the Earth is immovable. Various scholars modified the geocentric model along the way to make it fit new observations, but it held strong for over 2,000 years. It wasn't until the early 1500s that an astronomer named Copernicus began work on a new model called the heliocentric model that placed the Sun in the center of the universe with the Earth rotating around it. After years of work, Copernicus finished a book describing his heliocentric model. But he was afraid to publish. His model was so different. He was worried about upsetting the scientific and religious community. The book was finally published in 1543, shortly after his death. In the 1600s, the telescope was invented, and observations began flooding in that didn't jive with the geocentric model. Galileo, an early adopter of the new technology, noticed that his observations fit Copernicus's heliocentric model. Galileo began to promote the heliocentric model, along with the idea that biblical writings don't always need to be interpreted literally. The Roman Inquisition, a council that oversaw religious crimes, scrutinized Galileo's writings. Following a hearing on the matter, they decreed that the heliocentric model was heretical. They forbade Galileo from teaching or defending the model, and they banned Copernicus's book. Galileo began to work quietly on his own book that compared the geocentric and heliocentric models. Following his book's publication, Galileo was brought forth again to the Inquisition. He was forced to denounce the heliocentric model and sentenced to house arrest, where he remained for the rest of his life. His book was banned, along with anything he might write in the future. It was many years before the heliocentric model was fully accepted. In 1838, real data finally verified the key assumptions Copernicus made almost 300 years after his death. Even today, we still have long, heated arguments about models. That's because modeling is such a powerful tool to gain understanding of the world around us.